Okay, so now we want to see how we can use HTML templates rather than using these HTML responses, so that if we render our HTML template, we can make more changes on it and make it look a little bit better than just having that basic line of just basic text. So the template, we'll also learn about the template inheritance on things like taskbars and navbars. For example, if we look at YouTube, you can also always see something that is recurrent, For example, if we look at YouTube, you'll see that this part is always recurrent and this part is always recurrent. Whatever we write here, enter, whatever it brings, this is always the same. It does not keep on changing, and it is a concept of inheritance, where there's a template inheritance where it always inherits this basic template, then whatever changes is what is inside here. Okay, let's see how we can do this. We'll also use, because this is a Django tutorial or a Django crash course, we'll not delve in a lot on the HTML. So what we'll use Bootstrap, so that we concentrate on Django rather than thinking about designing and checking the HTML on the CSS and designing the web page. We'll concentrate more on Django, so we'll use Bootstrap. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to students here and we want to create a new folder. This folder, we'll call it templates. Make sure you write this correctly, because Django will look for the templates folder. Enter, and when you open, you'll see the templates here. Then in templates, we'll also create a new folder. We'll call it students. We'll call it students, enter, and now in the students here, we'll create a new file and we'll call it dashboard.py. We have to put the .py so it realizes it's sorry, not .py, .html, so it knows it's an HTML file, and we can write HTML. Okay, we can just start by doing this doc we'll start by doing that. Okay, we want to create a HTML file here, so what we will do, so yeah, we start by HTML, HTML here. When we write HTML, it will open this one up. We try and just have a H1 title so that it does not look all basic, and then you can have dashboard here. Perfect. Now we want this to be what will be rendered here rather than this HTML response. So what we'll do, we will use the shortcut function that is there, because what Django does, it will go to students, go to the templates folder, then go to students, then look for the responses, the HTML responses inside there. So you have to put it in that order. It might look a little bit odd or redundant, but that's how it investigates, and that's how it looks for data, for the responses. So it looks for the students, the app itself, then the template, then the app name, and then it will look for this dashboard here, .html. So okay, then what we'll do, we'll work on this we'll use this shortcut for render, and rather than using this, we'll just return render. Then because this function is has an argument here, we'll use this argument, and we'll start with it, request then comma, then we want it to go to students slash dashboard .html. Save this. Let's look at our server again. Is it working? Close it, open it back again, see if there's any error. No error, so we can go back to our port here. Okay, there is a problem. The database is working, the site is working perfectly, our server is working perfectly, and I'm opening home and it's not working. So what might be the problem? It's displaying HTML. What about if we save this, refresh this? Perfect. I had to save this so that it so now it's happening. It's rendering this request going to the students to stroke dashboard.html, and now rather than having this HTTP response, it goes to the dashboard.html and looks at what's inside here, and it's this simple HTML code with this h1 heading, having the dashboard being a h1 heading, and you can see the difference between this and when you write students. You can see the students is just basic text, and this one is more of a heading, and that's now how this works and makes it. Now we can write more and more code. We can write maybe another one, h2 here. You can have a h2, enter, and then student data something. It's just an example. Refresh this and you can see now it's a h2 heading, and it looks a little bit better than this. Okay, let's just get rid of this, save that, and now we have known how to render the URLs from the view, and the view getting this information and rendering something from a template that we have. Okay, so we have the dashboard.html. Then we'll come and we'll create a new file here, save it, call it students.html, save this, then it will just copy this, paste it here, student data, change our view here to render, just copy this, paste it here, rename this to student, save that, and now this is fine. Now we have created both templates, but there's something here. You can see there's a lot of things that are being duplicated. All these are being duplicated, and if this page had a lot of things, it would have had a lot of things being duplicated. For example, like we talked about YouTube. If you go to YouTube, there's always this bar here, and this other bar here, the Navbar, the taskbar, and these things should always be inherited between applications and between templates. And because if you want to change maybe one thing here, we don't have to go to each template and change, but rather if it's inherited from one, we just change one and it changes all. Okay, so for example, if we have h1, let's call this navbar here, call it Navbar. Then we'll have let's put a HR here. Let's have another one. And then we can have H5. Sorry, H5. Then it can be footer here. And these are the things that we probably want them to inherit. And then we can have now our H5 here. Let's have maybe a H2. Call it Navbar. Sorry, dashboard. Save this. Let's see how it looks. Exactly. So we want this and this to always be there. Then whatever changes is this, because this can have the home button, etc., etc. But all we want to change is the content inside here. And how do we do this? We have to create block elements for this to work. And for us to create block elements, we have to create first of all the HTML file that will hold this navbar, and then we'll tell it to always change this. So we will start by first of all, we can also just check students hash student have it was students. Okay, we made a mistake. I never checked this one. Okay, templates, render missing one required position, template name. Okay, students.html view. Save this, refresh. Oh, there's because this is a function and we have put as request as one of the arguments, we have to also pass it here. Okay, now it works. Perfect. Student data. Save this, fetch this, student data. Perfect. Okay, let's continue. So we want what we're going to do now is create our first a main.html, which will hold this the header and the footer. Then we come to the to the templates, and then we will create it here. Okay, so not in the templates, but in this specific template here. New file, we'll save it as main.html. Save it. We'll come to the dashboard, copy everything here, paste it here, and remove this. So this is the portion where we want to have this is what we want to be inherited, and here is where we want the rest of the template to be. So we'll use a block function, the block element, by using block tags, so which will indicate basically where our inherited code will end and where the child code will be. So how we do this, we'll talk more about this a little bit further. We'll use this curly braces, percentage sign, 2 of them. Then inside here we will put block, and then the name of the we'll just name it content. That's the usual name that is used. Then we'll have to end the block here. The same thing, 2 percentage signs. Inside here we add end block. Perfect. Now what we want to do now is go to our dashboard. On the dashboard we'll clear everything here and this down here. let's just remain with this. I don't want to rewrite it. Let's just put it down there. We'll come now. What we do here, you have to tell it that we want to inherit the main.html. We do that by we're writing block inside here. We'll just write extends, and then we will have, now what does it extend? It extends students main.html. Perfect. And then we have to tell it where this code of this template will be. So we'll go ahead and just do this, what we did the other side. We'll write block content, and then we proceed to ending the block, end block, and then this dashboard, we'll put it inside here. Save this. Perfect. Everything is fine. Main.html, block content and block. Perfect. And now let's test it out. Let's go back to our Chrome port, and you can see it has inherited this and this. We can go back and add the same thing on the student. Just copy paste this, copy, just delete all of this, paste it here, cut this, remove this, paste it here, and I think I'll just make it H2. Save, and now refresh this, and when you go to the students, boom, you can see this remains the same. And for us just to change anything here, we can make this our footer. Save, and it changes for both of them without having to go to each one of them to change. That works very good. So also, when you look at this navbar here, it can become very strenuous if we the navbar can become very big sometimes. Like we've seen of YouTube, it can have so many small elements, and that might not be that productive having to come to change it on the main HTML, because there might be a navbar, there might also be maybe a sidebar, there might be the footer might also be very long. What you want to do and make this a little bit better, make it a little bit easier for us to edit and also to debug, and also to just have a clean way of doing this, is by we can also create here a new template. This template, we'll call it maybe navbar.html, enter, and then this navbar.html, now we'll have this. Right now it's very small, it might seem insignificant, but if it was tables and them having a lot of things inside there, you just have to, let's just cut it from there, put it here, save this, and when we come to this, enter. We haven't saved this. Give me a second, let me save this. Main.html, save this, refresh. Nice, it has disappeared. Now what you just want to do is to come here, do what we did to these ones, just copy this, do what we did to these ones, but now we don't want to extend, but we want to include, and it will include the navbar.html. Save this, go here, refresh, and it's up here. So if there's any changes you want to make on the navbar and they have a lot of elements, including maybe a login here, and maybe you have a sidebar, we have a footer, we'll have each one and every one of these to be in their own templates so that it can be easier for us to edit. Okay, so what we want to do now is create a navbar, but we don't want to concentrate, as I've said, with the HTML and CSS. So what we'll do, we'll use Bootstrap, and we can just get that from the net. We can just look for Bootstrap Navbar. We can use getbootstrap.com, and there are so many Bootstrap navbars here. There's this one that has like a drop down and has a search here. There's a simpler one here. Where is it? Yeah, this is the navbar that is that looks like this. There's this one here. There's this one. This one that has drop down link. There's so many. There's this a form that has a search here. And how Bootstrap works is you just copy and then go paste it there. So I think we'll use which one looks a little bit better. I don't want anything complicated, so we'll use a small one. I think this is good. Home features. I think this is good. Just take this one. I've copied it. So I've copied it. It looks nice. We can maybe add a logo here in future. So we'll just copy that, go back to our code here, go to our navbar, select this, paste it with that, save this, and then we go back to here, click this, and then we have everything here. But you can see it looks a little bit weird, so we have to look for Bootstrap CDN, enter. We'll take the we'll go to this one that is based on the one that we took. Okay, we used, I'm not quite sure which one we used for the other to get the Bootstrap. I'm not quite sure if it's this one. Let's just go back. So it's getbootstrap.com. So we'll use the getbootstrap.com one. Okay, so I think we'll just use the quick start one. Go to getbootstrap.com. We'll come and copy this. Go back to our code here. The beautiful thing is that we can paste it here. Let's just paste it here. Save this. Go back here, click this part. Boom. You can see how beautiful the navbar looks right now. It has changed a couple of things about this, and now it looks kind of nice. They're not reflecting anything, but it looks kind of nice. Okay, let's go back to our code. So the next thing we want to do here is look at this navbar. We can see a lot of things here. Its classes, its name, there's navbar here. We can change this to whatever we want. This here, it can be a link. The href can be a link. You can put a link here, and because it's just hash, so that's why we're clicking and nothing was happening. This is light. We can maybe change it to dark and see how it looks. Background dark. Save this. Go back here. We can refresh this, and now it looks dark. It looks a little bit better. And when we minimize this, make it more smaller. You can see this, but when we maximize it, we cannot see it here. But what we want to do now, we have to take the because it requires some JavaScript, we have to come and be just below this CSS on this get bootstrap.com to get this, that we got this CSS. We copied this, we'll copy the one for JavaScript. As you can see, many of our components require to use of JavaScript function. Specifically, they require jQuery, blah blah blah. So I've said we're not concentrating on these things of styling. We'll just copy that. Yeah, so we copy that. As I've said, when you click this, there's now functioning here, and we might want it to drop down and have some options there. So we've copied that. We go back to our code, go to the main, put it down here, paste, save that, refresh this, and when you click this, boom, now it works. It will work also because when it becomes small, it might not be able to accommodate all things here, but when you click that, it can do that. So that is perfect. And yeah, so we have that. We have added a couple of things taken from Bootstrap, added the CSS, the JavaScript. Also, we might go to the Navbar here. There are a couple of things that are not important to us. This I don't think it's important to us. Can change this to students, maybe this to dashboard. Save that. We have not added any link here. We can just copy the path that we have, or copy paste the website themselves. But what you want to do, we also I want to show you how we can add these links. You can add maybe slash something. I'll show you how we do it in Django. Yeah, okay. So you have seen the dashboard and how it has inherited everything. Now I want to paste a code I have created here, but I'll explain everything. But I just it's HTML code and it's not that important to this, but just look at this. Perfect. I'll paste it here on the student HTML so we can know how it looks. Save this, refresh this, and this is how we want it to look. So admission number, student name, and year of completion. We have our students here. Still have our footer. Then the admission numbers will come here, student names will come here, and they completed school. And this is what I was requested to do. So we've already seen how this works, how the data has entered, how this looks, and I'll just try and interpret a couple of things here. So basically we've created a class here and we've created a table. The first table will just be up here with the jet name. You can see this here, up here. And then we've created a card, then a button. So this is a card, then this button that has the name all students. It does not have anything here, so it does not reflect anything, but it's a link. Then we created a table that occupies this, and the table has these things inside it. And so admission number, student name, let me just make this capital letter, and closing the table, this table, closing the table itself, the tr, then closing the table, then these divs are for these ones. I think I can add something here. So I'll add a div, div, enter. We'll specify call dash md dash will make it let's say 11. I think 11 is good. Save this. Okay, so this is 12. As I've said, you will just add this here, this here, without it. This is how it looks without it. It goes to the edge, but I just wanted it to have this there. And now it looks all nice and good. Admission number here, student name will be here, year of completion will be here. And now we have a way that it will look when you go to the student bar. Perfect. And that is really nice. Okay, so this is how it looks. I want to make this not all white. I want to make it a little bit grayer so that things pop out and doesn't look that basic. And how we do that, we go to our code, go to the main, then just around this place, just around inside the head. Let me just do this real quick. That will add a style. I don't need all this. Like that. Then we write a little bit of CSS here. Remember, we are not concentrating on this, but I just want to style it a little bit. So body, have background color, and we'll have what we can do. We can go here, then we can look for something like color, CSS, hex color, CSS hex color. Go here, then we can pick some color that we think is good. Might want some silverish. This is too much. Let's just use something else. Okay. Okay. No. Want it to become a little bit gray, like this. FO. This, I think this is good. Copy this, go back to our code, paste it here, save this. We'll save this. So we want the body to be that grayish color. We'll go back here, we can refresh this and now we can see it it's a little bit gray, and I think that looks a little bit better. So we've saved this and let us continue. Perfect. I think that looks good. Now the next thing we're going to concentrate on is now a little bit of this navbar, how we're going to put links here. Then we also need to put maybe like an image here, like a logo or something that will work with this to make it look a little bit better. So we can have a logo here, and because a logo is an image, that is a static file, and that's what we'll be talking about. The navbar here talking about static files and how to change a couple of things here. Okay, thank you very much for watching this. See you in the next one. Okay, a couple of other things that we need to add here is email, gender, this email, phone number, enrollment year, and gender. So we'll go back to our students here, copy this, paste it. So admission number, student enrollment year will be here, enrollment year, enrollment year. I think gender, I think this should move up. Yes, it should be there. Phone number, year of completion, then something else, email. Save this, go back here, refresh. Now we have a better, more diverse looking information. Okay. Perfect. We'll also look at increasing the spaces for this, but so far so good. Perfect. Okay, I think we'll just make this admission no. Just make it DM. DM number, gender, name, yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. So admission number, gender, name, enrollment year, phone number, email, completion year. Perfect. I think it looks nice now. We'll think about adding a couple of other things, but now it looks, it has all the information. Also the data dashboard itself. It looks very basic. We want to add a couple of things here. Okay. Something else you've noticed is that our dashboard looks kind of weird. When we go to the opening page here, our dashboard just looks kind of weird. So what we want to do is create a couple of things here. We'll create a couple of things here. Let me just paste some HTML code on our dashboard here. So here on our dashboard, we want to add something here. And what we'll add, it will be kind of tables that will have like total students and total courses, because the department I'm working with has I think 3 courses, so like total courses and total students here. And also I would like to add new student, add new course. Then yeah, I think those are the things that we'll add here on the dashboard. And how we'll do that, we don't need this, but I want to create something new here, a new file that I will call total. The one that will work on the totals, I'll just call it totals underscore stats .py. Okay. Sorry, it's not a py. It's not a py, it's more of a HTML. So I'll delete this, create another one, new file, save it, call it total underscore statistic stats.html. Okay, perfect. And what I want these totals to have, we'll just copy paste the code that I have pasted here. How it will look, let me just copy paste this real fast. Save this, and how it will look, we'll just go to the dashboard. Let's copy this, go to the dashboard. It here it's supposed to be include, sorry, include, and we will put this total dash stats. Save this, refresh, and we have these two things here. You can see total students here, total courses, but it's not that visible. It's like all white, so we'll add a little bit of styling on this to make it look a little bit better. We'll go to main. You see here where we put the style, we'll add new styles. And when we go to this total stats here, you'll see ID, total orders. Let me just rename it to total students. Then this is I'll just rename it to total courses. Perfect. Save this, and for us to style it, we'll come here to the body, and I'll just paste the styles that I created. Take them, paste them here. Perfect. Save this, and then when you refresh here, it now looks a little bit better. So they tell us the total students, how many students we have, how many courses we have, and we can add something else on this. Save this, total stats. Then let's create a new file. Let's call it creation.html. This is for creation of new things, like add new student, add new course, etc. Let's save this here. I'll paste code that I have written, paste them here. Perfect. Save this. Go. This side is not that necessary now. Just minimize it completely. Let's close some of these things. Okay. Let's take this to the top to stay with. Okay, total stats. It's on the dashboard. On the dashboard, we also want to include something else. Want it to also include creation. Save this. Refresh this. So we had add new student, add course. They don't have specific things inside them, but we'll add them as we continue. I'll just delete this dashboard, it's not important right now. Save this, fresh, and now it looks a little bit better. So it will tell us how many students we have, what are the total courses, and we'll have an ability to add new course, add new student. It goes on looking better and better. We'll make it look way better as we continue.